approaches and has a hit. Jack McGlynn! That is an absolute banger to draw this game level.
Welcome in. A little bit early. We got some sunlight coming in. It's rare for the stream. Yeah, feels good to be nice and early. Have the rest of my night after this. Jay Blaze was first in. How the heck are we going to figure out to the next game week? Who to use, maybe? You're watching on replay. All right, cool. Thanks for stopping in, Jay Blaze. As you come in, hit me with any questions that you have. We'll go over some things. A little bit of everything. I've been watching some auctions here. They've significantly slowed. They have the instant buys, but this is all we got for the next 15 hours. So nothing really happening here. But I was just kind of watching the Lozano auction. Turns out the first one was a little bit cheaper. It's like 150 less. Charlie, what's happening? Thanks for coming in. More your time. I figured we'll get some new people in here for a change instead of the late night ones where it just doesn't work for UK or really anyone but the US. So I apologize for that, but should have some better ones, better timing ones as we hit the summer here. Couple things that just as people are coming in that I don't know are kind of surprising is how much these are going for. There's a lot of hype. I like the just kind of, it does have a vintage vibe. I like how they look. If I had like one bugaboo, maybe that soccer ball is a little bit too big, but other than that, I like it. I think that Zaha is beautiful there. That's something nice there. I think most of them are good, but obviously the Dane St. Clair one is horrendous. But other than that, yeah, only one auction for a lot of them. And then most of them are up on the instant buy, but there's still some guys. Yeah, I was trying to buy a few of them. They went a little bit higher than I thought they would, so I ended up not doing it. I'm going to struggle to put a lineup in just because I've been treating this as I'm getting collection pieces. And I've got like my Cincy collection to 5%. New England was already 5%, but I got several collections up 1 or 2%. And I think, it was $5-ish a card to do it, but plus. But I think it's worth it in the long run. Getting 50 collection score out of these is pretty big. So, having my big cards like a Vander, my Carlos Hill is already on 5%, but that extra boost I think has been good, and we're not even at the halfway point. So I think it's going to be positive moving forward as well, just to kind of give you that little edge. You see, I got outbid by the pack house from way earlier, but I was looking at him. I was talking to PSU fans a little bit. He got the first one that came off the board here, and I thought that was underpriced, but I saw he was on it, so I didn't go after it. This is going for a little bit more than that, and he's not going to go without decisives for that long. So I think it's worth a play at this. Maybe not, just not for me at this price point, just because I'm doing other things. But yeah. Some of the, I should say, all the San Diego cards are insane. So if we look at that, 431 for Dreyer, 137 for Patty McNair. They've been bet up like crazy. So there have been multiple people going after those. I thought that like maybe some of the top cards you could get a discount on. That's not the case. There's that Ojeda for 250. I do like these, and eventually I'm definitely gonna get one of them. I was looking at the Kai, and I just can't stomach paying that. I actually got an in-season Kai today, or was it yesterday? Maybe it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I think I can. Days are running together. But yeah, got an in-season Kai instead of paying the premium. I still paid the premium for in-season, but I needed that defensive position just because most of the guys that I thought were going to be good are no good whatsoever. So I need to strengthen that. I picked up a few other pieces, but not to play this competition, sadly. So I'm either going to wait and hopefully, something comes on instant buy or something. But I just don't see myself buying any of these just because that's all that's available on auction. from a personal standpoint. But I don't want to miss out on this comp just because looking at it, it's good. It's good payout. I hate that this MLS picks curated by Sorare MLS West picks. Yet we have a guy that plays for New York City FC, Alonso Martinez here. And then if you click on this, it literally has just it's not separate East and West. It's just all the players. So that kind of is frustrating from a standpoint, and it could get confusing if you don't know the East and West teams. You could get in some trouble whenever you're trying to make your lineups. I did a RotoWire article today, and I basically went through just this competition. So you can definitely check that out, see what teams are involved and all that kind of stuff. Arglass, what's happening? How we doing? Diogo, what's up? How we doing? Good to see you back. I know the other time frame isn't ideal for you, so hopefully this is a little bit better for you so you can actually tune in live. And the rest of you guys, say what's up in the chat. If you're new to seeing this live, I just basically go through all the games, things like that. But yeah. Yeah, Charlie, you got this. Having 5 is going to be tough. Like even 3 is tough. Like if I would say not in the limited as much, but just kind of me playing rare. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really difficult to field like good lineups. You know, some people I was watching like accounts that are just going all out in this. They're going to have 3 crazy good lineups. But right now, rare only has 83 people in it. I know that's going to go up. And top 100 get at least $30. That is as of now. And then 500, you know, whatever after that. But that's something to watch. I think that you will get some more people coming in, but if there's not cards, people are going to have to make a decision. Does it make sense to get into it and to basically, you know, buy in at inflated prices for this? But I don't know. This prize pool 2K up top is nice. I'm not sure if I'm going to pay the premium on those top guys, which in turn, am I going to be able to actually compete if I don't do that? I did get a reward, Alex Roldan, so I would use him for sure. So I have 1 position, but that's the only West guy that is like playable. The rest are collection pieces pretty much. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still kicking it around. I'll probably end up playing it, but 1 lineup, there's no way I do 3. And as Charlie said, man, the last where you have to have all 5, including a goalie, man, that's going to be pretty nice just based on how many people might be in this. JJ Lane, what's happening? Thanks for coming in. Cole Bassett news. Cole Bassett, it looked like the calf again. I rewatched the clips and everything. So looked like, you know, the same calf from what I saw. It could have been cramping. It might not have. But I don't know. Not sure. Tough to say there. I can start with that game since Just Heat popped in as well on the St. Louis side. So stream this hour, much better. I still tune into the other ones once in a while. I appreciate that. What's up? Not throwing your streak rewards at throwbacks? Oh, I'm throwing my streak rewards in. I've made a ton of buys. But I'm thinking of the in-season the rest of the year, as well as the final competition for that gold streak badge. I think it's going to be like 10 or less people in it at the rare level. So, you know, I'd like to win that. And I'm kind of hopefully setting myself up with the right cards to do so. Yeah, I got top 10. I got 9th in the first one, which is fine. But yeah, I don't want to FOMO into this comp, but it's a good prize pool. So I don't know. I'm going to have to buy at least 2 more cards to be in it. I could stomach it, but there's just a lack of them being on the market. So I don't know. It's tough. So let's start with Colorado for Diego. As far as Cole Bassett, I have him at 40% across 3 positions. It's tough. He was limping around after a long run. Then he was sub. It seemed like the same calf issue he was dealing with before. but it's tough. It's tough. No. I didn't. Not in particular. I looked at September. Who is playing in September? Because we don't know what weekend it'll be, or I assume weekend. But kind of just looked end of the season. Who do I kind of need to upgrade at? I want to have more options at goalkeeper. So I did pick up another one, Dane St. Clair, as well as pick up Smear for whenever Dane St. Clair leaves to be with Canada. Picked up a couple extra as well just to kind of cover myself throughout, because I do want to keep running 3. Hopefully have D1 lineups just kind of throughout, or D2 at the worst, and just keep running through those. So, yeah. The rest of Colorado here. So Mihalovic is good. The midfield, 4-3-3 makes sense to me. They've played different, obviously, throughout. Jackson Travis was cramping. That was just cramp from what I saw whenever I rewatched. Him and Sam Vines is kind of a toss-up, though. Sam Vines could definitely start. He just kind of, the last couple of matches, Jackson Travis has been favored by the coaching staff, by Chris Armas. And the others here, Rosenberry has gotten a spot start here or there, but Reggie Cannon's the starter right back. I would like to see Laraz, Atencio, and Ronan play at the same time, especially with Bassett likely out. If Bassett's out, this should be the 3, because they kind of slide into a 4-4-2. This is like the base formation, and then in attack, they kind of go 4-4-2. Maybe not in attack, maybe in defense, 4-4-2. With Mihalovic kind of sliding into that left mid position. So that's how I see him lining up. A couple toss-ups, of course, and then Zach Steffen, the other one, who's an oblique. Knock on Wednesday. Team felt good about his health. They held him out as a precaution. So that's what that was about. He should be good to go. I haven't heard anything that would think it's negative on his situation. So I am leaning towards him starting for sure. How do you see the Earthquakes? So it's going to be dicey for sure. So let's take a look. Oh, Balat, let's go. Yeah, we are live early. I'm glad you checked in here as well. So let's look at San Jose. So we do have a team expert for this, Seth Spencer. I don't envy him at all based on the lineup they threw out there. Then U.S. Open Cup, they went all in. They played 120 minutes in the U.S. Open Cup, and it's going to be tricky. So, yeah, I lean Daniel personally. I think Daniel will be back. He's been training. So I would lean Daniel over Edwards, although Edwards played well in the Cup. I just think that if Daniel is fit, he'll start. And that's what Seth says as well. So he does lean Edwards. I think it's probably safer to lean Edwards, but I'm going to go Daniel. It's my projected starter. But again, it's a toss-up. If you have those players, I don't know. Kind of hard unless you play them in 2 different lineups, which it kind of gets into one of them is going to be a throwaway. I do kind of miss the rolling locks in that, some of the decision making, you can just wait for the lineups to come out. Although it does take away from, your families and doing stuff. And I know the Monday night I had hockey practice during whenever the Inter Miami lineups came out, things like that. So I just, had to hope that nothing weird happened. But backline, Rodriguez is week to week, according to Arena. That's pretty brutal there. The injury, I don't know if they said a specific thing, but he collided with one of the forwards, Ganaga, I believe, from New England. And it says right here too. And then he had to be subbed out. But they didn't say exactly what the injury was. I think from my notes, did they list them out? They didn't. He was limping pretty bad whenever it happened. I don't know exactly what area, if it was a lower body, because San Jose doesn't say anything. They either say upper body or lower body. So I'd be interested to see. I assume it'd be just listed as lower body, but that's my guess there. Again, guess. And as you can see, these percents, I'm in line with them just because we saw what Arena did against New England. It was shocking, but it got a result somehow. I still can't believe that New England didn't win. But I would think Josef Martinez is should be available for the weekend, was the quote. And yeah, this should be the starting lineup. It just kind of depends with congested fixtures what happens here. Like Espinoza missing, that had to be like his first game missed in a really long time, not in the starting lineup from what I kind of remember. I feel like there's a crazy stat on him that he's like had so many starts in a row, but I could be wrong on that. But yeah, just kind of rest. Oh, here. It'd help if I read. Yeah, first MLS League game he's missed since October 2021. So yeah, shout out to Seth here for bringing in that knowledge. Sari Harrison, what's happening? What's up with you? Just going game by game here. So like I said with Just Heat, he's in here. So here's the St. Louis. St. Louis boys went all out and they collapsed. Markanich scored 2 in the last few minutes. And they lost, both assisted by Pereira. Yeah, this is tough. I know for all the St. Louis guys, they've been struggling with, this team, everything involved. Berkey and Net, Yarrow, Baumgartner, and Hebert. I was going to say, you got to be dead inside whenever they went all out for the U.S. Open Cup and then couldn't get it done. It's tough. Back-to-back loss to Minnesota in quick succession. Pompeo and Wallum at the wings, Ostrak and Durkin centrally, Hartle, Klaus, Toy Shirt. So, yeah, this seems like a strong lineup for them. But we'll see. Interested to hear from Just Heat. Are you ready for Olaf to be fired? Is that a fireable? Like, I know he's already on the chopping block, but yeah, I mean, Olaf saves a numbered, I know you said here, but do you think that, or like this match in Colorado, is this the final straw? Got to be getting close, right? You would think, but Arglass is in here as well. So let's go to Austin for his prediction there. No, Kessler free for Mihailovic. Yeah. Continue to play Yarrow at center back is enough to get fired. Yeah, there's that there. Yeah, Simpleman, what's happening? Yeah, big on Mihailovic. He's going to be in my top D1 lineup, that's for sure. Definitely going to have Mihailovic and Dreyer in one lineup. I am looking at Chucky Lozano in season. Haven't bought one. I was going to get the special edition, but can't afford that. What is going at now? But yeah, big on San Diego as well this week. Stuver Net is 0-0 against Vancouver last time out. U.S. Open Cup win there. Now they travel to Minnesota. Could be some slight changes as far as, the center back. I would assume it's Cascante. I agree here. Biro or Kolmanek. There's a chance that Kolmanek rotates in there. Essentially, Dubrsarski just started. I had that same midfield on my RotoWire prediction. Bukhari, there are links to Bukhari going back, but he's still playing here. Azuni didn't start in the U.S. Open Cup. And Vasquez started, so there's a chance that he is rotated. Just chance of rotation. A lot of places with these congested fixtures, with U.S. Open Cup, there's a lot going on. So it is a little bit tricky, and especially for lineup predictions, it's tough because you're going off. Like I did all the U.S. Open Cups today. I went through, okay, who played, who had the minutes. As you can see here, you got to know how many minutes guys played, especially when it doesn't show up on Sorare. So this is, I would say this is a huge advantage to having Sorare inside as compared to just having the percents on Sorare, just because it gives you a little bit of insight into it. And I try to make the notes, as big as possible, as much as possible. And all the team experts that help me out here, I've been doing a great job doing the same thing. So Minnesota has gone away from the two-striker look. They've been alternating, especially with the congested fixtures, with Olisei and Yaboa going back and forth. So I do have Olisei. He was coming off the bench last match. He only played 11 minutes. He should be locked in to start. It should be Lode and Pereira as the two attacking mids. And they have been playing this 3-4-2-1 or 5-2-3, whatever you want to call it. St. Clair and Net, Romero, Boxall, and Diaz makes sense there. Carlos Harvey. Maybe Gressel starts again, but it seems like they're going every other with Gressel. And Rosales served the final match of his suspension, so it's a little up in the air, but Markanic has been playing unbelievable. He's out of his mind. 2 goals last match. He's scoring like crazy from that position. So it's kind of hard to replace him, to be honest. Even with Rosales, I think there's a true battle at that position, and I have both cards. I was high on Rosales coming into the season. I was also high on Pereira, and Pereira worked out. It was just kind of whoever got the sets out of those two guys. So I love Pereira. His price is crazy. It's kind of tough not to sell at the price compared to what I would got him for, but that's just not my plan. I have a tough time selling until they're worth less than what I paid. So that's the lineup. Bongi Halong Wane would be the other guy there. Just kind of what they went with midweek. That kind of makes sense here. I thought the U.S. Open Cup collapse would be enough. I don't think management has any idea where to go from here. No plan. Yeah. That's kind of thought you might get some news today. That's for sure. Mateo, you're new to Sorare. All right. I received 100 euros of market credit as a welcome bonus. Nice. What should I do? Should I spend it immediately to participate in this event or wait a few weeks to buy some top players? First off, make sure you can see when it runs out. Just there is a timer usually on those. I'm not sure what for like new users it is. Just make sure it doesn't run out. I would say you shouldn't jump right into this just because your 100 will go further not buying cards for this this new event. But that would be me just kind of thinking of like getting in the game. I would kind of wait and you can get better players, or don't buy the new versions of it. Buy like the in season, not the classic, if you know what I mean. The this year cards. And it kind of depends. Do you want to play MLS? Do you want to wait for Europe? Or what do you like? What do you know the best? Has to go into it as well. So a lot of different ways you could go. That's for sure. Thanks for coming in, though. New user. It's awesome. And that's the first matchup. With Minnesota at home, they try to not possess the ball a lot. So it's kind of a lot of sitting behind the ball and then hitting on the counter. That'll be interesting to see how they do, because they haven't been successful at home. They've been a road team because that strategy works on the road, not as much at home whenever they should have more of the ball. But them kind of going away from the two strikers has helped a little bit with that. Definitely seeing some underlying stats going in a positive direction there. We cannot edit. This is not a flexible deadline. It is going to be the normal time. So we got to just kind of set your lineups and pray that there's nothing going on there, sadly. No flexible deadlines. But might be good if, if you live somewhere where you have to be literally up in the middle of the night to set them, that can be really frustrating. It's an even playing field with the same lock. Because like a guy like me, I watch every match MLS 360. I'm pretty much locked in as much as possible, like on the weekends. But then like if there's like maybe it's a Sunday, that Inter Miami game was a Sunday, but if I had like hockey or something going on, personal life, you can't really, you got to just kind of hope you're missing. So, could be a little bit frustrating with that. So I can see both sides. I think for the big competitions, it is nice to be able to not have a DNP and kind of shift lineups around. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see where they kind of go with this. They said it wouldn't be like a regular thing for flexible deadlines, but yeah, we'll see. Real Salt Lake. Okay, so several things kind of going on here. There was some rotation here. Anelli was rotated. Catranas was rotated. They should be back in the starting lineup. Junqua, Brand Vera, has been in concussion protocol with a head injury, but he was back training. He's got to be close to being in the team. It's kind of up in the air there. Quentin was back on the bench last match. He's an option as well if they decide to go elsewhere from Junqua. Noel Kalaskin, he the old Portland kind of like second team player. He started at right back 3 in a row. So that was kind of surprising. I didn't see that coming whatsoever. But yeah, that's kind of crazy. But Bodie Hidalgo, he's listed as Davis as his last name whenever he's a sub. I have him at 50%. So there's a good chance that he could be in there as well. Ojeda, pretty safe unless Pablo Ruiz starts for him. And then Diego Gonzalez, he's questionable with a heel issue. It doesn't seem like it's long term, but I lean him to start. But if he's dealing with it and they don't think he's ready, maybe they'll keep him out. Diego Luna still feels good. And Mark Zook over Gozo. I've been wrong on this before, but Gozo's limping pretty hard. He was messing with his right knee and upper calf. He was kind of just, it didn't look great. And then Willie Agata, they could rotate back and forth there, but yeah, tricky there. Oh, you love MLS? Let's go. 3:30 a.m. Don't miss it. Yeah, last game is over my time at like 1. Last game starts at 10:30 my time, 10:30 p.m. So that makes sense. Yeah. Nothing better than MLS, right? Vera's still at 10%. I could bump him up a little bit more. I would like to see him in the team. I know with fully training and everything like that, 10% could be a little low. But I don't know. Junkwa has been solid in the position. If I had Vera, number one, you're playing the best team in the league so far, although you're at home, which I wouldn't be surprised if Real Salt Lake won, just because weird things happen in congested fixtures. But I have a hard time saying he's going to be a starter just coming straight back. Although, if he passed concussion protocol, he should be fine. But I don't know, tough there. But if I had Vera, I wouldn't be starting him unless he was like your last option. I would like something a little bit safer. They're playing Vancouver. Just forget that percent-wise, 38%, 41%. So slight home favorite with Real Salt Lake. So like I said, there's a chance. But training news from today, we did get some. I will go back through and see anything that I missed, since this is earlier than I usually update kind of around this time. So I'll go back through and see if any training news or anything that I missed from today. I did see this before logging on. So everyone except Krylik and Gald, they're both working the gym, healthy. So there are some question marks. This Vancouver team drew 2-2 in the midweek against Valor on the road. And starting went 90, Utvik, Laborda, Priso, Nagando, and Sabi. So those are the guys that, they didn't start everybody. That was like key guys. Atakugbe did start, but we are getting into some toss-ups. And I think it's just going to be a rotation basis where Tate Johnson is left back and Atakugbe, they're going to be kind of back and forth. Ocampo, Laborda, 80%, 20%. I think with Laborda playing 90 minutes, he's not going to start here, but I think these guys are going to go every other. Atakugbe, Johnson, and Ocampo, Laborda. Center back should be pretty safe there. Berhalter should be safe. Rodowar says Kubas is suspended. Is a mistake. I run those unless somebody edited it. I didn't have that in my notes. Let me do a little quick look here. Kubas, he's one yellow card from suspension. He should not be suspended. Sometimes it makes my stream lag, but let's see. Let's see what we got. Did I miss it? Huh? It's not. Yeah, I must have missed it. So I got to go back. I didn't have him down as having a yellow. I'm just kind of pulling up my Google sheet. Yeah. He had one against Austin. I didn't write that down. Weird. Huh. Interesting. Let me check his was it after the fact? Because I went through and did that, and usually I don't mess up, but I'm sure he had one. Oh. Yeah, sure enough. Yeah, I don't know when he got that yellow, but I did not see that. Must have just been 51st minute. I just oversaw it, so that's on me. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Just didn't have it on my notes. So that will change. That should be Priso as the center defensive mid. I will change that real quick as we speak. Thanks for the heads up on that. Yeah, missed that. Red or dead? What's happening? What's happening? Yeah, early is weird, right? 51st minute. I appreciate that, Art Glass. I want to start with MLS. So I was deciding whether to use bonus for this event or whether to make a limited first team now without the bonus. And wait a few weeks to make a second team with the bonus. Gotcha. I don't think you can go wrong using the bonus, like with whatever you do. Unless you're saying like make a classic team without the, is that what without the bonus means? I don't know if I'd jump right into classic. I'd probably go in season just because your in seasons will turn to classic and you can get some money back from that, where it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough in classic, just jumping in, especially you're going to struggle against guys that have 1,000 cards to choose from. Yeah. Just give me 1 second here. Yeah, so we should see Priso in there. It's better. All right. Glad we did the stream early. I catch my mistakes. All right, unpublish that, publish that back up, and that should be good to go. All right. There we go. All right, so let's go back through. So now with that, Ryan, what's happening? Yeah, I appreciate you coming in here. I'll try to do as many earlier ones as I can just to kind of help everybody. More people have access to it so you don't have to rewatch it. The only issue with this is like sometimes like whenever around this time I look up, like I go through my Twitter feed and things like that. I haven't gotten to do that yet. So yeah. Limited, not classic. Nice. The in season. Cool. Since we're already on this vibe, Redwire also has, so I don't, so like any suspensions, those are done like on the back end. I have no control of like how they're shown up. But in my Minnesota one, I don't think he's going to start. I think Markanovic, deserves to start, but the US Open Cup counted as one of the 3 matches that he missed. That's what I read from the article, like the Minnesota Post about it, that the third and final one, which was the US Open Cup, counted for that. So that's just based on what I saw. I feel better about that. The Cubist, I just didn't have it in my information. For some reason, I missed that yellow, but he should be available. But again, I guess, there's a possibility I'm wrong, but I read an article that said that he would be reinstated for this game, but maybe they don't know what they're talking about. I think they do because it's a Minnesota newspaper, but All right, so the rest of the kind of toss-ups here, I talked about the back line. Berhalter should be good to go. Vite playing one of these two positions. It's not a question of if he's going to start, in my opinion. Sabi going 90 is kind of questionable for him to start. So, I think Nelson maybe again. Nelson played 65 minutes, so he should be fit. Brian White in the starting lineup, and then Ahmed over Sabi as well. So that's kind of where I'm going for that. Best matchups this weekend, Seattle and San Diego, in my opinion, for that competition. You could go elsewhere, but those two are definitely at the top. If you're not playing that comp, Orlando's up there, Minnesota's up there, LAFC at Montreal, New York City against Chicago, although I don't feel great about that, but odds wise, they're up there. And then Colorado against St. Louis has to be one of the better ones. Crafted a Bomba, yeah, just after he went off, and it's on market. Nice. Orjano, possible move to Mexico, yeah. They could activate his release clause from what I saw, so maybe he'd be gone. This year hasn't gone too well for him. Just kind of, it's different. He was polarizing. And with Evander coming into the team, Evander's taking away a lot of what he did. Yeah, so pretty tough. Oh, man. Steph Fry, Rusnak, Lozano, and Mihalovic, and Yamar. Wow, that's a great lineup. That's about as good as it gets. I'm going to have something similar, just not as good in my rare in season. Going to have some similarities there, but that's probably as good as it gets. If I would just kind of pick guys to play this weekend, it'd probably be pretty close to that. Alex, what's happening? Good luck in the comp, y'all. Yeah, good luck to you. I'm sure you picked up probably 3 Spring Kansas City guys. I'm guessing. I don't know. That's actually a good question. I'm going to guess that you got Manu Garcia, Jovic, new illustration rare, or whatever it is, and who would be the third one? Or maybe you didn't go 3 Spring Kansas City. Third one, I'll go. Who would you go? I don't know. I'll just go with those 2, and maybe you went rogue for the third one. Let me know what you went with. That's a good question. Does that have to be play 90 after 120 minutes? After rotating before and him never rotating, I think he starts, but with the precedent that Arena has rotated him, that just is really scary. You kind of hate seeing that, right? It's Hershey, early stream, baby. What's up? Yeah, very early for you. What? It's like 3:30 in your neck of the woods. Mattia, falling from Italy. Hey, I appreciate that. It's great to see like new people in the chat as well, just because I know a lot of you like have talked to me before, and it's just not. It's not possible to watch it live, and I apologize for that. But just the time difference has been pretty brutal. Okay, Manu, Dejan, and Volader. All right. Nembe, Davis, Shoppy is a throw-in. So unsure if I want to go rare, price or wild. Yeah, I would not. I'm probably not going to play the rare until if something comes along the lines where it makes sense. Price-wise, it's just like you're going to have to pay like 2 to 3x on these guys that play in the competition. But yeah. Still work? Hey, let's go. A little work stream. But yeah, I'm unsure on the price as well. So that's that matchup. Speaking of a matchup we like, already talked about Colorado and St. Louis City. We already talked about San Jose as well. They're the first team we talked about, but SB, I agree with Seth. 70%. I wish it was more. Him playing 120 minutes is tough. But we haven't talked about Houston. Houston, big 2-0 win in Dallas over the weekend. But then they lost to Austin FC on the midweek. But they made several rotations. Escobar was a guy that played the full 90. With him missing some matches, back-to-back matches with suspension, he should be all right. His legs should be fine. Pablo Ortiz making his way into a starting role, really. I see Barlow as being the guy odd man out here. Sviatchenko is still hurt. Alwadesi coming in. They split 45 minutes a pop. in the midweek. Griffin Dorsey. Excuse me. Did not play midweek. In the starting lineup, he only played 16 minutes, so he should be pretty locked in. Artur was subbed off early. He should be good. And Brooklyn Reigns got a red card, but it doesn't apply to this. That's only for the U.S. Open Cup. Yeah, so Linger should be good. Bassi should be good. McGlynn should be good. And then Ponce played off the bench 28 minutes. So it seems like he should be fit and back and ready. JJ Lane. Out of the three, who would you pick? So 2 out of 3. Verskov, he's good. Great AA. Lozano and Mihalovic. I think Lozano and Mihalovic both get decisives this week. So I would go with those. Yeah, they're both on pens too. This is a positive. I don't think you can go wrong with Verskov, but I like Lozano and Mihalovic this game week. I think I like Lozano more than Mihalovic slightly. But I like both those guys. I see that the prices of the limited cards of the new event are going up. Do you think there are we purchasing options for the? I don't know what they're going to do for auctions because there hasn't been too many. I don't know. Tough. I don't have your answer. I'm sorry about this. I don't know if they're going to throw some auctions up overnight. I feel like they will, like right before lock. It would make sense. Or they just keep the instant buys out. And if you really want to play, you got to pay that price, which I guess they win either way, which makes that pretty difficult there. You scooped a Markanich rare. His price jump for limited rare isn't as high, so probably the flip. Nice. Yeah, you Tavion Gray. That was a good pickup there. Nice little one there. And this the old stream time. Yeah. This will be a one-off at least this week. Most likely next week back to the other time, but we'll see. No problem, JJ. No problem at all. All right, let's go to my Philadelphia Union. They beat the Philadelphia Riverhounds. They did play a decent amount of starters. Andrew Rick, I do lean him over Blake. I'll read the quote on Blake. Carnell on Wednesday said, Andre is progressing every day, and we'll see how we taper off towards the end of the week and see if he's eligible for anything over the weekend or continuing through the next week. We are monitoring. He's not with the team yet. That was on Wednesday. So with that being on Wednesday, I don't think he's going to start. But again, here we go with the Philadelphia Union keeper issues. Andre, Mr. Made of Glass, Blake, and Andrew Rick stepping in. Brutal for sure. I bought an Andrew Rick just because I want to be safe whenever I just wanted another in-season goalie whenever Blake goes to Jamaica duty. So just kind of, making sure I have him. Since I haven't had an Andrew Rick for some reason, I just always, I have 2 Blakes, but don't have one of those. Then you got Kai. He's good. He didn't play midweek. Harriel should be back in the starting lineup, 90% on him, with Makania being the guy out. But Glesnes rotated for the first time in as long as I can remember. And then Westfield has been a staple at right back, 70% just due to minutes. He played 73 minutes midweek, but he has just been starting every match. And there's always that possibility that he does get a rotation at some point. Vasilev, 166 minutes, but possibility with Bedoya, Lukic and Danley, Jean-Jacques in the midfield. Quinn Sullivan should be pretty safe there. He was rotated at one point, so that's something to watch with kind of Bedoya coming into the lineup. And then up top, I've struggled going back and forth with what they'll do with Ty. Should be locked in to start just based on he didn't play the midweek, so he should be good. Damiani started with a goal and an assist, so maybe he gets some confidence going. But he keeps starting over Mikel Ura, so it's kind of just a toss-up there. But then Donovan has started in weird situations like this before, so maybe we see another Donovan start and he goes to halftime, then someone else comes on. I hope not, but yeah. Pereira was stupid going, not far from full streak midweek, with 3 coming up, not to mention losing. Yeah, that was a tough one after that Inter Miami win. Pretty tough there. And then, Nashville, I don't know how they won on the road either with none of them. And it's kind of crazy. And then Schlegel, Schlegel also had that. Inter Miami. So I haven't made any updates just based on there's nothing really to update right now until I go back through it. The back line with this team, they traveled to Philadelphia returning before returning home to play in Montreal and Columbus before the Club World Cup. Could see some rotation here with it being a road match, or maybe they rotate against Montreal. I would think best 11 versus Columbus to get into form going into Club World Cup. But again, I have not done very well with Inter Miami this season. I've struggled just because there's a lot of moving pieces. But this back line has been their preferred. Bright has started multiple matches in a row over Redondo. Bright has been really good, actually, in a team that hasn't been good. So he's kind of earning himself a spot there. The front four, this would be the preferred front four. Maybe Fafa Pico starts, Kramoski maybe. But if they don't go in a different way, we'll see. Every time that Inter Miami has come to Philadelphia, they've beaten the brakes off of them. I don't know if that'll change this year, but I don't know. That whole team stunk against Orlando City, so there's a good chance that we do see some changes just because it doesn't really make sense. And honestly, Mascherano, it might be kind of on the chopping block just based on how poor they've been lately. And you wonder, what does he even bring to the table with this team other than playing all his Argentinians? I don't know. Suarez was horrible last week. Yeah, he was really bad. So 46% to 34%. But like I said, as a Philly fan, Inter Miami comes into the building and just beats the brakes off us. So we'll see. This might be a get right game for them, but Philadelphia's in a great run of form. Just seems like it might not be a great matchup. We'll see how the press works against them. Gary with CF Montreal playing LAFC. Montreal just lost to Forge on Tuesday in the Canadian Championship after getting smoked by Toronto after that early red card. Terrible week for them. Duke, Sinchuk, and Yankov out. Caden Clark was training yesterday. Chance either him or Owusu. Vrioni up top. Olger Escobar finally probably going to make his appearance here. He's been training with the team, kind of going back and forth. I see him starting as well, just based on what I've seen. The back line, George Campbell back in the lineup. That's huge for them. They need him. Waterman suspended. Rough there. We'll see how they bounce back. I know long trip for LAFC, but man, they're over 50% as a road team. That is the first time that's happened this season that a road team had an implied win percentage above 50%, at least that I've seen on the road. So that should show you the difference here. Road draw against against LA Galaxy last time. 7 straight unbeaten, though. They're really getting into form. They have this match, then a week off. So they have that Club America winner-take-all who gets into the Club World Cup match. So you would think they want to play something close to what they have. As far as who they're going to play in that match, I would think it would be the same team. And this is kind of the best 11 based on the Martinez possible question mark. His shoulder, he landed awkwardly, had to be subbed. So I have Under starting there. Ordaz at striker. He's been the best out of the options. Bobasi is more of a actual 9, but Ordaz played well. Other than that, this should be the lineup, right? If they want to get into some form. That's for sure. Yeah, Montreal has 0 talent. They're horrendous. Owners should be ashamed. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, really bad. Yeah, Sinchek. Yeah, Sinchek looked good in a couple couple. Did he play like 2 games? I still can't believe they paid like $4 million for him. I just think the front office is horrendous. I wasn't a Courtois guy either, just based on some of the kind of crazy things. But yeah, straight up crazy what's happening. Debating between prioritizing Igor Jesus or Tim Tillman. I like Igor Jesus personally a little bit more, but Tillman does have that decisive possibility. But I would lean Igor Jesus between the two if I had to pick. Toronto FC. So they're playing Nashville, hosting Nashville. Huge win, 6-1. And let's see if that confidence can kind of boil over and they can keep that up. So still missing Lorea. Gomes out for the year. That's kind of a big loss. Just a guy that has been a key starter for them. With Petretta and Franklin still injured, Stefanovic should be the starter at left back unless they go to 3 in the back. Dominguez got the start last time out. I think he deserves another start. Maybe Cuejo. Longstaff maybe, but doubtful. And that front 4 should be that front 4. Insigne, Bernardeschi is the safest out of any of those. Corbanu, he's played really well lately. And Brynhaldsen. Davy Flores is that kind of defensive mid that just has a crazy engine. And Toronto could have a chance here. You don't want to read too much in that 6-1, but that breeds confidence. And maybe if they start getting pretty confident together and go on a little bit of a run and not be like a laughing stock in the East like they have been the last few years. And they're playing Nashville, who I still have no idea how they won against Orlando City. I apologize. Dunk, that's just brutal. But they did rotate here. The only kind of question marks that I have would be Palacios over Applewhite. I do think it's going to be Palacios since both guys started, went 90. Yazbek started, went 90. I could be very wrong here, but I just think based on that, we could see Brugman in the starting lineup. But I've been wrong about that before. It would just kind of make sense. But Brugman is the backup based on what we've seen so far this season. And then we should have that front 4. They were all rotated, right? Yeah, all rotated. But yeah, we'll get it off the screen so that Dunk doesn't have to see anything else here to bring it back any bad memories. Remember, you guys beat Inter Miami 3-0. Just keep thinking about that instead of whatever happened midweek. But we'll bring you up. So you forget about it, and then let's jump right back into it. So with the U.S. Open Cup, I think we're going to see some rotations here just based on the teams they field. 2 strong back-to-back teams. Gillespie, Janssen, Schlegel, Freeman, Gerbet, however you say it. Paslick and Enrique, but Enrique is not a starter. Yeah, they all started and went 90, so there's a possibility we could see some rotations. Brekalo went 84, so possible rotations. But yeah, another Freeman assist, and Paslick was good too. Yeah, Freeman is awesome. Rooting for that kid. If you're an American football fan, his dad was Antonio Freeman, legend. Who did he play for? He played for like the Buccaneers, right? But I love to see like lineage, but they don't play the same sport. I always find that really interesting that, their dad wasn't pro in something and then they go to another sport. I love seeing that. Sometimes you see that with like basketball, football, but actual football. But yeah, I can see some rotations. And he got a U.S. men's national team call up too. Yeah. Great to see. Yeah. At the beginning of the year, just kind of looking through things. He looked lively. Like the first time he came off the bench, he made like a back post run just out of nowhere and he almost scored. And I was like, man, that guy, wow, where'd he come from? And like Thor Halson has been the starter forever. And it's just like, wait, Thor Halson this kid's taken his job. And now it's just like, wow, whatever he's done all off season, man, this kid's good. You kind of love to see that kind of situation. And he does get so many chances every single game. He just is a chance machine. He gets so far up, so far back. He's just everywhere. Yeah, you love to see Freeman, that's for sure. That's one card I wish I had. But right now I just can't really say that I should pay what he's going for. Not to say he's not worth it. It's just yeah. So maybe Thor Halson at West with that neck issue. He's been training, but still doubtful just based on he hasn't been in the squad at all, and he's been training for a decent bit. It's kind of like a Brian Vera, but I would say Vera's closer than Atuesta. Araujo should be good. Angulo isn't good, but should be good in the starting lineup. Ojeda should be good to go. Paslick, he's got a motor on him. He should be fine. Muriel should be good to go since he came off the bench. Yeah, how do you say is it Gerbet or what is it? Because I saw that piece that they did, or maybe they're talking about him on the game. But he was number 1 on their draft board, and what did he go, like 22nd or something in the super draft? So that's a pretty good sign that they know what they're doing, and they have a really good eye for talent, like Duncan McGuire. The scouting staff in Orlando is really good, just based on scouting the super draft, which is really hard to do. You don't see a ton of guys make it from the super draft, but yeah, it's another guy that was a great pickup. And they're playing Portland. So Portland lost midweek. They played a full strength San Jose, so I don't think it's a bad loss, but a few guys played decent minutes. They did go 120 minutes. So Crepeau, Claudio Bravo, Kamal Miller, Zuparik, and Lassiter were the guys that went full. Sermon went 118, so might as well have been full. Anthony went 61, Ortiz 72. And then outside of that, like Rodriguez, I don't think they planned on him playing 60 just based on the quotes before. So I wouldn't think on this quick turnaround he's going to start. But this is what I have. Crepeau over Pantemis. Pantemis has been training, but he's been out of the squad. I think with Crepeau likely going to Canada, they're kind of just waiting on Pantemis. Give Crepeau some more starts, and then Pantemis, whenever the Gold Cup, Crepeau's gone, he'll be the starter again, just based on kind of what I'm reading into. Jimmer Forey, he had a clash of heads. He wasn't in the midweek squad, but Neville said he was okay. We've heard that before, and then, out of the squad again. Kamal Miller, I know he played a lot of minutes, but so did Zuparik, so I have him starting Sermon as well. Again, they're the key stars on the back line. Juan Mascara should be good to go. Will Chara be back? Will Paredes get another start? Should be David Ayala, pretty locked in there. And in the front four, I have it here. Kevin Kelsey should be a quick heel per Neville. Was lower body issue, but just a question mark there, and not a risk that you're going to take anyway. But that's the team that I'm going with there. Atlanta United. So let's see what Ryan has for Atlanta. They lost to my Philadelphia Union, and they continue to stink. He's going with the 5-3-2 with Gregerson coming back into the starting lineup. So there's a good chance there with him getting back to full health. He is their best defender whenever he's healthy. It's just he's never healthy. But he'll be good to have back. Lennon came off. No real update on him. Miyamba out 3 to 4 weeks. That's a shame. But outside of that, this should be your lineup. I don't see anything other than like Klitsch starting maybe over Fortune or Sliz. And then Gregerson, will he start or will they go with Saba and go, like a 4-2-3-1 or something along those lines instead of playing 3 at the back / 5 at the back. But they're playing a Cincinnati team that they host that is not going to make it easy for them whatsoever. The kind of key information we have from here is Yaya Kubo is still not training. back-to-back days of not training, so I took him out of the starting lineup. Nwobodo played the first 45 minutes, and just as a precaution, just to make sure he's good to go, they took him out. So I do see him starting again. The back line is a question for me based on fixture just congestion. Are we going to see Hagland again? Or is it going to be a rotation again just to keep everybody fresh? Miles Robinson seems like the safest on the back line. Miazga, again, he's coming off of that injury. Could he maybe see some rotation? Hadebi and Flores, in my opinion, are two solid options that they can definitely rotate through these. And then, like we saw Yedlin, Orjano played that right wing back position. So there's a chance that, Yedlin could be rotated. Just, there's a chance. But he came off the bench against Columbus, so I wouldn't think that he would be rotated again. So it's just a bit of question marks with this. Orjano is more about where he's going to play, 80% total, right wing back / right striker. Evander should be pretty locked in. I don't see him rotating. I don't see Robinson rotating. I don't see Celentano rotating. I don't see Denke rotating. So those are like the four guys that are key. Everyone else has rotated throughout the season, but yeah, they've played him forward too, and I don't know. Last match he played at that right wing back position, but yeah, it's just he looks lost. Like last year, whenever he played that left wing back position, he was doing great. But like I said earlier, Evander has kind of taken away a lot of what he's done. There's not a lot of chemistry between those two, at least so far. They've had some decent link ups here and there, but they're still learning to play with each other. Same with Denke, the old beautiful little bicycle assist. That was it a shot? Was it not a shot? I think he even said after the match there was a shot, but he should have said it was a pass because it looked like a pass. But and so going with Cincy, let's get to one of the biggest favorites, 69%. Nice. Seattle Sounders playing Dallas. A couple question marks here would be the left mid and right mid positions. Pedro de la Vega, I have him at 50%. This is just based on a quote that Schmetzer said that Pedro de la Vega doesn't necessarily have a guaranteed starting spot. So since that was said, that makes me lean Jesus Ferreira starting on that right side. Paul Rothrock and Ryan Kent seem like they're going to go back and forth here. I do have Rothrock slightly ahead of Kent just based on congested fixtures, and it's kind of tough. De La Vega, I did put at the bottom here. They were rotated. Him and Rothrock were rotating against Portland, likely back in the starting lineup. But Ferreira revenge game, there's just a lot going into this. So I am going to lean Ferreira in there with De La Vega coming off the bench just based on that quote that Schmetzer gave. I don't know why he would say that without like kind of leaning towards that Ferreira is going to play, but we'll see there. Jackson Reagan back anytime soon. He should be back shortly. He's been training, but it's modified training. So he's again doubtful, but kind of tough. Schmetzer didn't give any update on him this week from what I've seen though. But I would think he's going to be back in like 2 weeks. Hopefully it doesn't get into like a Gald situation where it's just like forever. But yeah, should be back relatively soon. FC Dallas, they played last night as well. They were limited on PKs by the New York Red Bulls. So they are traveling to New York. Okay. Likely either back or straight trip to Seattle. I'm not sure what they ended up going with. And then they're going to the other coast. So they're going coast to coast in congested fixtures with a lot going on. This just is a really good spot for Seattle due to so many factors going on here. Plus, you have Lucho Acosta, who's going to be out due to yellow card accumulation. Not that like defensively that changes anything. It probably makes them better defensively, but it's going to be tough for them to get on the board. Musa is not going to get that much. Okay, it's straight to Seattle. That makes way more sense than flying back than flying again. Yeah. So yeah, they're on the road. It's tough to be on the road for that, for a road trip. things like that. They got the fun regional group. Yeah, that's a crazy regional group, right? The Red Bulls were in that. I love it when things just don't make any sense at all. Nolan Norris, Farfan came off the bench for, what do you play? 55 minutes. So it's good to see him coming back from that leg surgery, both legs, for a weird kind of situation there. Osaze Ibiaga was the guy who didn't start, but he did play 39 minutes off the bench. The full 120 was Martin Paz, Osaze, Abubakar, Shaq Moore, Ramiro, and Acosta. So, possibilities there. Petter Musa is good to see that he played 90 minutes. Could he rotate? Yeah, it's possible that Farrington starts here, just based on him coming back from injury. So that's possible. Pedrino could play cam. He could play right mid. There's possibilities either way. Kamungo, possible starting. I would say that's the one that I'm not sure as the most. Could Show maybe get a spot in the midfield? Sure. Natessa Balang, sure. Just kind of how I see it. This could be an 8 out of 11 for sure, just based on like a few rotations of guys coming in. So I just don't see how you really play anybody here from Dallas that you feel comfortable with. The only ones that maybe would be Pies if you think they're not going to concede 3. Your Hoghide plays pretty well on the road, so he should be able to rack up some tackles and maybe have a decent floor as long as they don't get scored on a ton. Other than that, I don't really love anything going on here. Full transparency there. But usually whenever this happens, like a team with 14% win percentage and 0.6 XG, usually they end up drawing or something like that. So you never know with MLS play. DC United, this is Danya's team. What do you got here? Gonna have to talk about percents. We're over 90% on a couple of them. All right, so let's take a quick look at the starters, and then I'll pop this off and see where we go from there. So as far as Paglo coming back, he is huge to this team. He does so much for them. So him coming back in the starting lineup would be very big. Minutes were limited last weekend and midweek, so he should be back in the starting lineup. If he is, it's just tough with what they have around him. No Benteke. And you just look at this team and you don't feel great about it. I don't think there's an easy way to say it. It's just not a very good team. A home match here against New York Red Bulls. Anything can happen. But I can't really trust them at home without Benteke. I don't know. I know they're 41%, 37% here. It would be very Red Bulls of them not to win because they're still struggling on the road. They haven't won on the road yet this season. So DC does have that going for them. So a little bit of question mark there. Omar Valencia should be back in the starting lineup, but we'll see. It's just kind of a question mark here. I would have thought that after he served his yellow card accumulation that he would have started midweek, but he only played 19 minutes. You see there that Alexander Hack and Tim Parker are projected as starters. That is because, and as Duncan says, both starting center backs are out. Yeah, both got yellow card accumulation suspensions. Noah Isla and Sean Nellis, both out. So they're dealing with that. I do have Kyle Duncan starting over Harper just based on, I think they're going to want a more defensive and natural right back instead of Harper gets better forward. Edelman played a decent amount midweek. They did go 120 minutes as well. Carvalho did not, so that's good. With him, Edelman played the full game, so that's why Stroud could possibly start, but Stroud also played a decent amount of minutes, 85 minutes. Sofo, I have him starting again. He started several in a row. Gengar, it could be Harper, it could be Carmona. Carmona played 120 minutes, so that's why I didn't have him starting. Forsberg and Choupo-Moting should be good. So with all that being considered, Red Bulls have not scored or have not won on the road yet. They are missing key guys on the defense. DC has a chance. I don't know if they're going to do it. This game kind of screams like a 1-1 draw or something similar to that. But you just don't love anything there. Nice. Retro Forsberg. Nice. I like that. I do love the look of most of them, except for the Dane St. Clair Nightmare one, Nightmare Fuel. I do really like the kind of special edition ones. Speaking of nightmares, Charlotte FC, the nightmare continues. They lost 4-1 to Chicago at home on the weekend, and they just lost to DC on pens. So that's 4 straight without a victory in all competitions. They went 120 minutes. So Bingham, Malanda, Marshall Ruddy, Vargas, and Tavares were the guys that played 120. Seth, what's happening? Just finished work and updated the. All right, cool. We talked about him before. I said that I was leaning Daniel. Let's see if you did the same. Arena quote: Earl has been a very good backup, and now he is going to play some games while Daniel is obviously recovering from injury. Also asked about the availability of Martinez, Rango, Rodriguez, and Daniel, and only confirmed that Martinez was fine the weekend. Didn't say about Daniel, which makes okay. Edwards Jr. Very interesting. So I forget who asked a question about it earlier. So that's interesting. Earl Edwards Jr. All right. Thanks for that little update there. That's big. Worst penalty shootout ever. Yeah, that was horrendous, right? That third Charlotte conceded was comical. There's so many bad PKs. Yeah. God, that was bad. So bad. But yeah. Kalina, the baby watch is over. Don't have to worry about that anymore. So he didn't miss a match. He just didn't play in this one. He hung home. Privet is the big kind of question mark here. So he has a hamstring issue. Held out of the midweek match. It will be a game time decision. I do have him starting, but I've gone back and forth here. Tim Marine could slide there. Tuoloma played in the U.S. Open Cup. Malanda should be good to go, but again, playing 120 minutes can be tricky. Maybe we see Marshall Ruddy at left back and Scardina at right back. I have them both at 60%, but if Scardina starts, Marshall Ruddy would be the guy that slides over there, and Tim Ream at left center back. Bronico has been out of the starting lineup the last 2 matches, but I do think him over Diani. Westwood back in the starting lineup. Then that front 4 should be that front 4. I wouldn't see any other changes there. Neither of them are in priority. Yeah, so yeah, that's a good point there as well about Daniel and Earl Edwards Jr. And Charlotte play the Columbus Crew. So Russell Rowe was rotated last match. Coin flip between Amundsen and Chaburko. I just don't know. I don't think anyone knows. If you do know, let me know. That's a Nancy thing that I just don't really know here. After not starting last match, AZ Jackson has a chance here since he somehow weasels his way into the starting lineup way too much. Maybe I let a little bit of my personal feelings fill in there. But outside of that, maybe Daniel Gazdag gets a rotation here and they play AZ. But outside of that, third straight draw for the Crew. They'll want to get some points here. But Columbus against Charlotte, 2 heavy hitters in in the East. And will we ever see a Schulte clean sheet ever? No, I don't think so. Right. That's why if you saw my kind of Gold Cup preview, whatever you want to call that, just preliminary squads, I don't think Schulte's going to get the call up. I know he was with the 4. I think Freeze deserves to get the call up, although it kind of stinks that he won't play. Like that's annoying, right? He kind of deserves it more than Schulte. I really think Schulte's not going to get the call up based on current form. Steffen's better at current form. I know not every time. And then Freeze, he's better. Current form. Freeze has played really well this season. I think he deserves it maybe more than both of them. But I guess we'll see. Sean, let's go. On Twitch too. I'd love to see it. What's happening? Yeah, early time. Early time for all. We're getting everybody come out. This is great. Oh man. And I can actually build my lineups after I get off. So earlier time frame. Yeah. It just works for everyone better. It's just my kid actually and my wife are in Disney, so they're coming back tomorrow. So I've had this time on my lonesome, so I could stream whenever I wanted. It's kind of crazy. No Carl's Hill yet. So wife had friends over and they just left. Nice. Attaboy. Family out of town campaign. It's a little, I don't know. It's a little lonely. We're on like day 3 of it. I'm ready for them to come back, but yeah, some free time isn't the worst thing. Just hanging out. Kind of bored though. I'm just doing lineup predictions and writing articles and yeah, I'll trade all day. I know you will. Who do we leave off on? San Diego. We'll get to the Fighting Carlos Hills here shortly, but San Diego, great matchup here. Yeah, they play the Galaxy. This is a rivalry starting this season. I like Dos Santos. I think Bombino has a pretty good shot to score well. McVeigh somehow just continues to score well. McNair's worth a shot. I wouldn't touch right back personally. As you can see, it's toss up here. And then Dreyer, Lozano. It's first golf you can play. Godoy has been really good SF5 wise this year. He's been really putting things together. Yeah, for sure. I'm good with my new boys. I'm not like this McVeigh, 80% versus 100%. I don't see Ray starting. McVeigh should be pretty locked in. Yeah, this is Danya. He's the club expert that runs this one. But yeah, I would think McVeigh is pretty locked in for sure. Yeah, I need to buy a Lozano. Hopefully someone puts him on the market. Just an in season. I don't need the illustration rare. And they're playing the Galaxy. So Galaxy, I do have Fagundes as the guy coming out of the starting lineup. If you look back to last year, it's just kind of, I don't know, it just makes sense. I don't want to take out anybody else just based on, I think Ramirez could be the one. If Fagundes starts instead and then Marco Royce plays up there, I think that's a possibility. But I just kind of lean this way. I think Paintsel coming off the bench should start then. But yeah, some toss-ups. Sanabria has started to show why he was worth that price tag. But again, Fagundes can play so many different positions. There's a chance kind of everywhere there. I know, right? Whenever I saw you had that peck, I tried to go at I think I put like maybe a little bit over what you paid for it. And it just got snapped up. Like, I think there was 8 hours left and it was already over. I'm like, all right, guess I'm not getting the peck. Sporting Kansas City. This intrigues me just because Sporting Kansas City at home, playing a New England side that disappointed, to say the least, whenever that Carlos Hill assist was called off. That was ridiculous, but we're past it. We got Alex's team here, so a couple toss-ups in different positions, just based on the rotations, what they've done. You would think this is the weekend squad that they had. And yeah, I don't see it any differently. And then Dembe, possible, Leibold, kind of a toss up there. I agree with everything here. And he is the team expert, so he knows more about Sporting Kansas City than I do, that's for sure. But if you're running any of these guys, it's probably Manu Garcia, who's at 90% if you add the two. Shappy, 70%, but he hasn't played. He's more of a 60-minute guy, it seems like. But outside of that, Joveljic should probably play. Yeah, Rip Gadikimda. That's crazy. So many players, past MLS players, have just died recently, which is insane. And the New England Fighting Carlos Hills, Shankalai, possible start here. Very interesting. Yeah, Ganago starting up there. That should be the only change. From Campana, grade 1 strain, out a few weeks, likely back for Cincy, and Langoni further away. So no one played in the Open Cup midweek, which is good. It's just the performance against the B team. How did they not just smash? As a guy who ran multiple players, we take the clean sheet, but how are there not more decisives there, or any decisives there? actually. But yeah, nothing to there. That's AJ Allen's New England lineup. And then the last match here is we got New York City FC. And they're playing Chicago, who is in really good form. So this will be an interesting one between the two. Matt Freese, like I said, I was talking about earlier. He's been great, especially a guy, Philadelphia would love to have him right now with Blake's injuries and everything that goes along with that. He's a guy that you kind of wish you wouldn't have let go, but at the same time, Andre Blake's been there forever, so I get it. Burke Reese has been playing left back for the injured Kevin O'Toole. You would think that keeps going with Cavallo, possibly. As the other option, Gray should start, Martins should start, Hawk should start, O'Neal should start with Parks kind of laboring. Left hamstring issue with Pereira, taken off after 60 minutes. Looked more like a slight knock, but he'll be a doubt here. I think Shore starts over him. Hannes Wolf should start 80% there. Fernandez just kind of depends, should start. In my opinion, he should start, but you never know. He starts to hate a decent amount. Yeah. Freeze, McVeigh, Yepe, Heel, and yeah, you're coming for rare pretty hard. That is a diesel lineup for sure. Yeah, you can just save your save the disasters for sure. Oh, that's just super rare. Oh, even better. Your rares suck. Nah, I'm sure your rares will be good. You're just leaning into them. You'll do a great job. And they're playing Chicago. Chicago, based on what they ran in the U.S. Open Cup, Cups, Acosta, Kwame, Haile Selassie, and Glasgow all started and played the full 90. So I would think we're seeing basically the same lineup as we saw last weekend with Pineda and Orrego as the two in the middle. It's crazy that Acosta just isn't a starter anymore. But yeah, front four should be pretty safe here. And outside of that, it should be Rogers over Cups. So, usually whenever you see one of these, you would think 11 out of 11, and then it ends up being an 8 out of 11. But yeah. Philly stack. Philly stack. But that's the lineups. Like I said, San Diego, Seattle, Orlando, top three. I think you can lump Minnesota in there, but with how they play, it's not as ideal to play at home, just because they like to sit behind the ball and attack on the counter. But they've done a little bit better in possession without two up top. But it just seems like that could be a 0-0 game for sure. Or it could be like a 1-0 game. But yeah, 57% there. I like Colorado against St. Louis. How could you not? Mihalovic in for probably a big match. San Jose, interesting spot, but they could rotate a bunch. Philadelphia against Miami. I don't want to really say that Miami doesn't have it in them to win. We'll see. I think that's going to be a really interesting matchup. LAFC should take care of business on the road, but we've seen crazier things. Toronto, we'll see if they can back up that performance against Nashville. Orlando City, like I said, I like them against Portland. 62% seems high, but Portland going from the Pacific Northwest to the Southeast, that's a long trip. That could be tricky. Atlanta, slight favorites against Cincy. What is the bottom for Atlanta? Is it here? We'll see. Seattle, obviously, like with Dallas traveling across the world. DC United facing a depleted New York Red Bulls team. That's going to be weird. Charlotte, somehow in horrendous form at home, playing Columbus. San Diego should dispatch the Galaxy, but crazier things have happened. Sporting Kansas City, New England. I don't know how I feel on that one. That just screams draw to me. And then New York City against Chicago will be an interesting match as well. So that's the rundown through all of these. Mo, what's happening? If you have any questions, you can hit me with them. I just want to pop back over to those auctions. I know I was just looking at rares. Sorry. If you're a limited player, I'm just kind of interested in what the rare market's looking like because they don't have a lot on. PSU actually is the one that told me that they had them on instant buy. So it is kind of, I guess that's cool that they have them on instant buy, but Yeah, so here's the one that I got outbid on. But yeah, that's a beautiful card. But just with the auction so out, yeah. Any news from Zerman? There hasn't been like anything. He's not out of concussion protocol yet, so I would consider him out until we hear otherwise. But yeah, as far as I know, he's still in concussion protocol. So he might be training on the side, on the bike, things like that, but he's not in full training from what I saw. Yeah, so my kind of thoughts were I could get some of these higher end guys at like a similar price, not higher. um, just to kind of look through them, like that pack, like at 159 with an hour left. It's just kind of crazy. I get the illustration rares, but these are just like collection bonus. So what I've been doing is I've been looking at in season and I've been paying significantly less, although it's like the same price that it was, but I've been going that route. I bought a Kai, I bought a Dane St. Clair. So that was actually the big spends that I've been doing, which is kind of, I don't know, weird because I was looking at these cards and I'm like, I want these cards, but I've actually just been getting like cheap ones to get my collections up. So I basically wanted to just boost my my collections for this year. So I'm at 5% on that New England for Hill. That was kind of my plan all year, and it's really worked out for me. Having, getting close to 100 as a captain on Hill, plus getting that 5%, I would argue that that's helped me get all those streaks and everything. 5% on Cincy for Evander, Celentano. I mean, I have decent amount of cards that I play significantly. Philly. I have that Kai, and now I just need one card. But I was looking at like the instant buys. I'm probably just going to buy someone on the market. But out of these cards that I need, all are pretty much the expensive ones. But yeah, I'll get them to 5%. DC, that just didn't go well. The idea was to get Benteke and then boost him up early in the season. Just didn't end up having a good stretch, and then he's been hurt. I really like this Minnesota team, so I'm going to get them to at least 4% to boost that Pereira, as well as, Yubo hasn't been good, but I don't want to give up on him. Vancouver, I got galled in order to boost him with a bunch of guys. That didn't work out. Columbus, since Schulte never keeps a clean sheet, try to boost his score up a little bit. Real Salt Lake, that didn't go. I just have a bunch of them. I was going to get a Luna and never ended up getting Luna, so I'm just kind of doing some things there. I got a bunch of rewards there. There's 8 cards. I think 4 of them were rewards, which is annoying. I boosted Forsberg here, boosted Mihailovic here, and I guess Navarro as well. But again, I just try to get a bunch of guys on 3% to get a little boost there. But that was my thinking. Yeah, I mean the illustrations and just the regular cards, it's just like a smooth design. I don't know. I like it. Benteke only a couple weeks. Oops, I almost clicked out of my stream. Benteke, let's go to Danya's notes. I think it was just a couple weeks. But let me double check. 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks on him. In the West Coast Clash, what are your top 3 defenses as the possibility of getting a clean sheet? You know what? I can show you a tool on RotoWire. I get this. You have to have a membership to be able to. I'm not signed in, and I strike that. Either way. But what we can do is we can go on here as well. Go to matches odds, I believe. Is this how you get here? Yeah. Then we can go down here to United States. And then can you sort? That's less cool. Less cool you can sort. All right. Top clean sheet percents are Seattle, off the top of my head. Seattle's number 1, Minnesota's 2, I believe, and then San Diego's 3. Those are the top 3 clean sheets. And I think Seattle is not even close. Let me just check. They're almost 50%, I'm pretty sure. Does that win 51? They're up to 51. What's the headings here? Clean sheet 51%. They're above 50%. Yeah, so that's pretty insane. But yeah. Yep. Every year, just buy Carlos Hill and you'll be fine. Even if he doesn't start off very well, it doesn't matter. Looking at just a couple of these, just to kind of wrap up things here. Yeah, the illustration rares, or whatever they're called, special editions. I really like them. I think a lot of them are good. I like the detail in this Bouanga. Like that actually looks like him. Some of the artistic are not great, but that's great. Lozano is so good. That Carlos Hill is great. I like that Evander as well. A little lopsided on the head for Diego Rossi, but maybe his head is a little bit lopsided. There's that Messi. It's great that they didn't give him one. That's hysterical. There's the Dane St. Clair. Oh, man. The artist was just like, yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Oh, my God. That's so bad. They're all so good, too. I'm not knocking it. It's just, that's so bad. Miggy is decent. Yeah, what else we got here? I like that Zaha one's great. Marco Royce, his hair color it's like, he's dust. So the LA is kind of cool. DeCosta's cool enough. I already said about the Zaha. Zaha's great. How do we not get a Messi animated card? Save it for another promo. Yeah. They wanted to show Suarez love or something. So yeah, Forsberg is another one. No gold or white. Gave it to Nelson. Yeah, that was weird. I would have thought it was going to be white, just how good he's been. Just kind of bizarre. And then the other thing with this, like, I know that these are prices based on what people are kind of paying, and it's obviously increased. But like seeing Blackman with up here is pretty funny. De Luna's good with the neck tats. Hugo Kuipers is very basic. I mean, I don't know how you don't do George Campbell for Montreal. Vasquez is cool. It's cool enough. This is like he's listening for his wife and kids, and coast is clear. He's good. Still safe in America. This Adrian Martinez, that's Alonso Martinez / whatever he wants to be called. That's about as basic as it gets. What other ones are missing? That's Saliba. Joveljic is kind of cool. It's all right. I don't hate that. I just want to keep going to see how much. Benteke is cool. Yeah, it should have been George Campbell. But it's funny, like how far you have to scroll. We're on page 3, and there's still some of these. I don't want to accidentally scroll by one. Maybe Jaden Nelson is on the market here. All right, let's just go to illustration edition instead of wasting time. All right. Ponce, I didn't see that one, right? Were there any other ones we missed up here? No. Ponce, apparently different Adrian Martinez. He's popping up. There's a Saliba. And they're saying Kevin Sullivan. What? All right. That Kai isn't as cool. It could have been better, but it doesn't really look like him. Is that on auction? I think that auction ended, didn't it? I thought someone posted for sale. Yeah, there we go. 3 of them. Okay. It just, I don't know. I like the idea of it, but that just doesn't, I don't know. Just doesn't really look like him. Maybe it does. Maybe I'm just seeing it wrong, but I would like one of these, but I'll probably wait till like, I don't know. It's probably not going to go down. Who am I kidding? I'm a sucker. Maybe I'll get like the limited version of it or something just as a keeper. I don't know. But I like it. I mean, I think the just regular ones are a cool concept as well. I just keep refreshing the auctions just to see if they just like hammer us with them beforehand. Oops. But it doesn't seem like they're going to. With only 29 rare auctions. But they'll probably just load them up overnight. They did that before. So I would watch. They might have some overnight. If they do, I'm probably going to play in the contest just to pick up maybe a couple if I can. But I surely am not paying $4.30 for Dryer, which is just crazy. A lot of good guys on buy here. You get the Lucho Acosta, who's suspended for the weekend. Yeah. Gerbets. Another batch tomorrow before. Yeah. I mean, you would think, right? You have high bid on Dryer Super Rare. Nice. What's up, Lloyd? Anyone have a little hidden gem for the West Coast comp this weekend? Got 4 or 5 players, need one more special edition. Perhaps Mighton. Maybe Mighton. Yeah. I mean, he's in a good matchup. You have 4 or 5 players. Does that mean you have 2 special editions already? Yeah, Lucho's on yellow card accumulation suspension this weekend. So, a bummer for them. A hidden gem that I wrote about would be Alex Roldan. He's probably not going to get decisive, but he has the ability to get AA pretty well, and he could score 80 from like AA alone. I think he would be a legit shout for someone that isn't that expensive, as opposed to some of the other Seattle cards, but not financial advice, just someone I wrote up earlier. But yeah, I don't need to really do market watch on this. I guess if there's auctions, we'll see if I end up going after it. I don't know. It's a good prize pool is the thing. You don't want to miss out on it, but at the same time, you don't want to spend so much that it just doesn't make sense. Like you have to win the comp to make it back. But again, it's a long season. We're not even halfway yet. And it's going to be weird. That's for sure. Are you tracking your MLS buys and winnings in a spreadsheet? Yeah, I have. It's not like public or anything, but I have how much I've spent, how much I've gotten. The only reason I'm rebuying here is because I'm close to my starting figure at the beginning of the season already. So I invested some of the winnings back, and I took a decent amount. But yeah. Kubas, we figured out on stream because I didn't have the yellow in his last match. He's suspended. Who else is suspended? I don't think anyone of too much note. Let me just check that. Yeah, they don't update it in time, which is so frustrating. The disciplinary summary. From the players that were one off, Lucho Acosta would be suspended. Noah Isla and Sean Nealis are suspended. And Kubas. Those are the ones that are all suspended. So Lucho, Noah Isla, Sean Nealis, and Andres Kubas. Those are the 4 who are suspended. You have 2 of them. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, don't you hate that? Stupid yellow card accumulation suspensions. Let's see. Anything else that I missed? Probably not. Maybe I did. I don't know. Probably going to call it that. If you have any questions, I am going to run back through. So if you're a Sorare Inside member, and if you see any updates by tonight, I'm just going back through comments, Twitter, just to see what I have. But yeah, we'll see on that. Yeah. So annoying that, just not being able to play your players and one less match that they could play. Yeah, let's wrap it up at that. Good luck everybody this weekend. If you play this competition, hopefully there's more auctions out there. Limited will be easier to play. Not saying it's easy to play, but limited will be easier to play. I'm hoping to get into rare, but if you're looking ahead, getting 5 is going to be difficult. So I would look ahead to that competition and make sure you don't get guys that don't play because there are teams that don't have matches. They said it in the original blog. So good luck everybody this weekend. Hopefully you guys had a good time, and I'm glad you guys could join me earlier instead of, the nightcap / watch it back. It's good to see different people in here, obviously. And a lot of the same people that catch me late too. So I will try to do maybe like once every 2 weeks, or, we'll see when summer comes on. Maybe I'll be even earlier. But it just kind of depends on schedules. So hopefully that works out for everybody. And hopefully some of these prices are attainable, and we can get after it for this weekend. So good luck, everybody. And we will see you next time.